Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, a person hit on Capitol Boulevard. This is a live look at the scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. What we're learning as police have several lanes in that area shut down.
And winter is back. It has come to reclaim its time. Temperatures are supposed to be chilly, but 25 to 35 degrees colder than it was yesterday. I'll show you what it'll feel like when you head out.
Also, murder suspect on trial. Today, court proceedings begin for the man accused of murdering 2 Orange County teens. What to expect ahead of court today.
And convention center reopening. After weeks of cleanup and repairs from a fire in December, the Raleigh Convention Center will be back open for business today. The work still to be done as events return. But a big day for the convention center and for downtown to finally be hosting events again. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. Great to have you with us on this frigid Monday. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith in for Chris Lovingood. Double coats, and hats and gloves, all warranted. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
Remember that wind yesterday? As a matter of fact, we had gusts at the airport to almost 45 miles per hour. That wind pushed the cold air in, and that's what's greeting us this morning. We had a pretty look here of Rocky Mount Mills. You can see the tower all lit up here, the powerhouse. 27 is our temperature, but right now the wind is calm. That means we don't have too much of a wind chill to have to deal with. But our temperatures on this map have all dropped into the 20s, 26 in Southern Pines, 29 in Goldsboro, 28 in Roxborough and South Hills. So it is a cold start out there this morning, anywhere from around 27 to 38 degrees colder than this time yesterday. That is a big shock. In terms of wind chill, we see a little bit of wind chill in Fayetteville where it feels like 24. It feels like 24 in Rocky Mount. But again, with these fairly light winds, we're not seeing widespread wind chill. Still, it's plenty cold out there. We climbed to near normal this afternoon at 51. We stay dry for a few days. We'll talk about our diminishing chances for rain later in the week coming up. Chris?
And Elizabeth, for the past hour, we've been following this pedestrian-involved crash on Capitol Boulevard there in the southbound lanes. Literally within the last 30 seconds, Allie Cattlebar has learned some new information on the scene. She joins us now from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Allie, looks like things have actually cleared.
Yeah, just as you said, just within the past minute, we've seen officers leave the scene. We even saw what appeared to be the driver of the truck leave and drive off as well. And so we know that there was a lot of traffic here at this intersection. This is Capitol Boulevard and Brentwood Road. We know from Raleigh police that a person was hit by a truck earlier this morning within the past few hours, and that person was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. And also we know that the driver stayed on the scene. The investigation was still underway, and it looks like it just wrapped up. And so traffic should be flowing as normal. Of course, we're working to get an update about any charges that the driver could be facing, but we did see what appeared to be the driver of that truck just leave. We're also working to find out the condition of the person who was hit. Chris?
Thanks for staying on top of that. In the meantime, in terms of delays, we did have a 4-minute delay coming in on Capitol Boulevard that should improve, but usually this time of morning anyways, you have those slowdowns. In terms of coming into downtown Raleigh from Knightdale, from Garner, Apex, and from Durham, there's no major delays coming in here at 6:03 in the morning. Should that change, you'll be the first to know by tuning in while you're on the go. You can do so on 101.5 HD3. On the radio, we've got you covered all morning long.
Chris, thank you. Today, a trial will begin in Orange County for this man, Isaiah Ross. He's accused of killing 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark in 2022. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside the Orange County Courthouse. Kelsey, we have been following this case closely for more than 3 years now.
Yes, Renee, and Isaiah Ross was only 17 at the time of that crime. This morning, he'll be tried here in the Orange County Courthouse as an adult. Ross was charged in the deaths of 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark. He pleaded not guilty in an Orange County courtroom last year. We learned the gun used in the murder belonged to Clark's father when Ross was in court back in 2023. A source tells WRAL News that Ross attended school with Clark and the two knew each other. Preliminary autopsy reports revealed Woods was shot at least 4 times and Clark was shot at least 5. Orange County's assistant district attorney says both teenagers were running away when they were shot. We plan to have a crew here in the courtroom closely following this trial, so you can stay up to date on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Hillsborough.
Well, today, the Raleigh Convention Center reopening its doors for the first time since the fire last month. Authorities say a mechanical failure sparked that fire. It caused an estimated $2 million in damage to the roof, heating and cooling system, kitchen and offices. Also, 6 events were canceled or moved somewhere else. It's been all hands on deck since to get those doors back open. The convention center says they've set up a mobile kitchen at the Red Hat Amphitheater to serve guests right now.
The kitchen is built to mimic our real kitchen so that we can prepare, 2,000 meals, plates of dinner at one time. So if we need 10 ovens upstairs in the real kitchen, then that's what we've got in the mobile kitchen.
Within the next few weeks, the convention center plans to have a crane set up on McDowell Street to take off the roof and damaged equipment. Temporary air conditioning will also be installed until a permanent replacement comes in.
A Cary council member is challenging the mayor on his assessment of the council after the resignation of the former town manager. In an article published in last week's edition of Indy Week, Cary Mayor Harold Weinbrecht was quoted describing the town council as new with very little experience. He said that has created trust issues. Sarika Bansal has served as council member since 2023. She says the council's vision compared to the mayor's portrayal is just the opposite.
I disagree with this. It's the new council who has taken leadership and trying to bring forth these issues, trying to fix things, trying to make difficult decisions.
Bansal says her efforts to publicize policies and information like the town manager's spending authority have faced pushback from the mayor. We've reached out to Mayor Weinbrecht for a response. We have not yet heard back.
The woman accused of stabbing a man to death outside a Fayetteville convenience store is expected in court today. Shanice Starks is in jail without bond on first-degree murder charge. Police say Starks was the on-duty employee at the Circle K on Cliffdale Road. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, police say Starks got into an argument with 23-year-old Chris Sean Sewell. Investigators say Starks then stabbed Sewell. Officers say Starks and Sewell knew each other from previous interactions at that store.
Mail-in voting starts today for the March 2026 primary elections. Voters will decide which candidates represent the Democratic and Republican parties in November races for U.S. Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the state legislature, and more. Today, the state will begin sending out mail-in ballots to people who've requested them. The voter registration deadline for the primary is February 6th. Early voting runs from February 12th through the 28th. Primary day is March 3rd.
New this morning, Iran's foreign minister says nationwide protests there are under control. This comes as President Trump says he would take action against Iranian leaders if they kill protesters. More than 500 people have been killed during the protests against the government. According to U.S. officials, President Trump is looking at plans that could include strikes on Iran. Lawmakers in Capitol Hill are torn over this issue.
Mr. President, I would kill the leadership that are killing the people.
But I don't know that bombing Iran will have the effect that is intended.
Now, if the U.S. were to order strikes, Iran's speaker warned they would hit back and all military bases in that region would be legitimate targets. Well, 3 people are hurt after a driver plowed into a rally in California supporting the Iranian protesters. The Los Angeles Police Department says a U-Haul ran into that crowd. One person was hit by the truck. 2 others were treated at the scene. Investigators say they have someone detained, but they have not said if that person has been charged.
Hundreds more federal officers will arrive in Minneapolis today after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent last week. New video released over the weekend shows people confronting ICE agents in neighborhoods as they appear to make more arrests. Border czar Tom Homan says the agent shot and killed Renee Good in self-defense. Minnesota state officials say the Trump administration is lying about what the videos of the shooting show. The mayor of Minneapolis is calling on the federal government to let state agencies help investigate. If you have travel plans that involve a flight, you'll want to listen to this. Airline passengers without a real ID will have to pay a fee starting next month. The DMV will hold a news conference about that this morning. Travelers who do not have a real ID or passport handy will have to pay $45. That's for identity verification before they get to the TSA checkpoint. The fee covers the cost of a modernized alternative identity verification system called TSA Confirm ID. The verification will cover a 10-day travel period. What that means is people who plan their return flight within that 10-day period will only pay once for both flights.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center this morning, thousands of nurses in New York City right now within 3 hospital systems are going on strike. We are working to get some images of that strike underway, but we know all of this comes as negotiations through the weekend failed to yield breakthroughs in their contract disputes. Nurses were to start walking off the job beginning at 6 a.m. At several hospitals, and we know this is affecting so many different hospitals as we're also dealing with flu cases on the rise. Many hospital facilities and operations right now citing difficulty of finding people to fill the positions as those strikes are underway.
Now to the NFL, the New England Patriots moving on after winning their game. Their defense stifling the LA Chargers. Former UNC quarterback Drake May led the Patriots in his first career playoff game, and the Patriots defense held the Chargers without a touchdown. The Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3 to advance to the next round. The Patriots will host the winner of tonight's final game of the wild card round. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Houston Texans. That game is at 8:15 on ESPN.
It is 6:11 on your Monday. Rescuing Raleigh restaurants. One ice cream shop is serving up a new idea to help downtown businesses that are feeling the squeeze. Their campaign to encourage people to shop local.
Also, price match warning. Ever buy something and then see it for less a few days later? 5 on your side shares how to get some of that money back and the simple steps that can help you avoid overpaying.
And winter is back, that's for sure. Our temperatures across the board, at least on this map, solidly in the 20s. We're looking at the potential for some scattered showers a little later in the week. I'll show you what you need to know as you head out the door. 6:14, the top of the tower is lit in blue for the clear skies. It's a beautiful morning out there, but of course our temperatures really dropped. You remember how windy it was yesterday. We ended up with some gusts up to 40, 45 miles per hour. And so of course there was a bit of a wind chill. The wind is much more calm this morning, so not as much wind chill, but it does feel like 24 in Fayetteville. It feels like 24 in Rocky Mount. Elsewhere, the wind is not having a major effect on the temperature, but our temperatures are in the upper 20s, so it's cold out there. You'll see kids at the bus stop most likely in their big puffy coats. I definitely came in with my puffy coat this morning. At lunchtime, 45, we'll see a high of 52, which is actually normal for this time of year. And we'll see sunny skies and lighter winds, so it should be a bit more comfortable. We do have the chance of some rain later in the week, but it looks like it won't be much. I'll show you why. Chris?
And Elizabeth, right now in the WRAL traffic center, Ali Calabar first told you at 5:59 that the scene on Capitol Boulevard has cleared. This was the pedestrian-involved crash that happened right at the intersection of Brentwood Road, but again, that has cleared within the last 15 minutes. Elsewhere in the triangle, I-40 at Aviation Parkway, it's that typical flow from east to west there on I-40. So if you're planning on heading to the airport, no major delays. Should that change, we'll let you know on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
We know you will, Chris. Thank you. Hospital groups are pushing back on a new state law requiring emergency departments to perform mental evaluations on some crime suspects. The hospitals say the issue here is that those suspects could endanger other patients. They prefer those evaluations take place in county jails. Sheriffs who control those jails disagree. They say the evaluation should take place in medical settings. The new rule is on hold while lawmakers take a closer look. You can read more about it in the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Business leaders from around the state are gathering today at Research Triangle Park to talk about the economy. The 24th Annual Economic Forecast Forum is being hosted by the North Carolina Bankers Association and the North Carolina Chamber. Business leaders will reflect on the 2025 economy and look at economic trends of interest for early 2026. Downtown Raleigh is taking a hit as longtime restaurants are closing. Now, one business is serving up deals to help others. Audrey and Nathan Simons own the ice cream shop Simon Says Dip This. They've run their Durham location since 2021. They opened a shop in Raleigh last year. Now they've launched a campaign encouraging people to shop local. Anyone who eats at a locally owned restaurant can bring in their receipt and get 20% off at their ice cream stores.
We wanted to get as many people out to locally owned restaurants.
If these restaurants and shops go away, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? So we're the backbone of these cities, and we have to keep them alive.
Simon Says Dip This plans to run this campaign for the next 3 months. It will have a giveaway at the end of each month.
Get some ice cream this morning. It certainly won't melt when you step outside with those cold temperatures, Elizabeth. I like chocolate chip cookie dough. How about you?
I'm not so much a cookie dough, but definitely chocolate, you know,
Okay.
maybe
Yes,
like
you love
with
chocolate.
brownies or something, I don't know, or nuts. I love chocolate with nuts. All right, we're looking at a chance for rain later in the week. It looks like Wednesday into Thursday, and a few days ago, it looked like, you know, maybe we would hopefully see something like 1/4 of an inch. The model runs that we've seen lately just continue to shrink our chance for rain. It just doesn't look like we'll see a whole lot. At one point, you know how it goes typically. Sometimes the models about 7 to 10 days out want to show, you know, it looks like it'll be cold enough, maybe a little snow. It doesn't look like we're going to see that. Mountains may, but not for us. Behind that front Wednesday night, it is going to be breezy again, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, and of course turning colder as we get into the MLK weekend. Here's a look at the current pattern. High pressure to our west, rotating clockwise, is dragging in that cold air that arrived overnight last night. That high pressure system keeps us nice and dry until late Wednesday. Then we see the front come through with a small chance for rain and potentially some mountain snow, and then colder temperatures behind that front. This is a look at Futurecast. First thing on Wednesday morning, we're nice and dry with lots of sunshine, even sunny at noon. And then we have the clouds thicken up and we may have some rain overnight. Doesn't look like it's going to really affect us during the day on Wednesday. This is midnight Thursday. That's going to be first thing in the morning. This version of Futurecast wants to show cold air chasing the precipitation and a little bit of blue showing up. Couple things here. That's never a good snowmaking pattern for us. And number two, there's just not going to be very much moisture left. So that's not going to be a real snowmaker for us. But in the mountains, it's possible that they could see maybe around an inch. It looks like, you know, somewhere between an 80 to 90% of an inch of snow. We're just looking at a 20% chance overnight Wednesday, 30% on Thursday. And then you take a look at the map, it's likely to be less than 1/10 of an inch. We need 4 to 6 inches in a month to really catch up and put an end to the drought. And, you know, here we are already into the middle of January with not very much rain in sight on Thursday. There's another chance on Sunday. There's no real agreement in terms of how much we might see or what type of precipitation, so we'll keep our eye on that. Chris?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. If you're in Durham and you take NC 54 Service Road there, the 2300 block has a water line replacement that's going on, and that work could take at least a month. So definitely be paying attention to the detours there in Durham. In terms of heading into Durham right now, there's no major delays, whether you're coming in from Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, or points to the north. So good news there at 6:20 this morning as we leave you with a live look at I-40 at Durham Freeway. More updates anytime on 101.5 HD3 on the radio.
Chris, thanks. A new purpose. A man who spent more than 11 years in a North Carolina prison now owns a former prison. His plans to repurpose the site to help inmates re-enter society.
Plus, extreme spread. The CDC says this flu season is the worst that we've seen in nearly 30 years. What's fueling the surge?
And ahead on today, Hoda Kotb sits down for an exclusive interview with the newly named U.S. Olympic figure skating team. A Wayne County man who spent more than 11 years in a North Carolina prison is using his experience to help others. Cohen Pittman now owns the former Wayne Correctional Prison. He bought it through his nonprofit Recidivism Reduction Educational Program Services. He wants to transform it into a place where people can call home when they transition back into society.
For me to be a beacon of light in somebody's life when they're in a dark place, I know how I feel. I remember when I was in that dark place of having a transition and not knowing what the possibility of my life would become. And so to help guide somebody to that next step is extremely important, and I'm grateful to be able to do it.
Well, the campus will provide transitional housing, workforce development, and job placement, educational opportunities, and other programs.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
The Hollywood award season kicks off with the Golden Globes.
Yeah, and anchor Chanel Jones debuts in her newest role on Today. Here's a look at what's trending. Some of the biggest names in television and film gathering in Hollywood for the 83rd annual Golden Globes. One battle after another was the leading film of the night, taking home 4 awards, including Best Motion Picture and Best Director. Adolescents also took home 4 awards for the top television program. Actor Owen Cooper made history as the youngest Golden Globe winner for Best Supporting Actor in that Netflix series.
Other notable wins, K-pop Demon Hunters winning 2 awards for Best Original Song and Best Animated Feature. They were golden, and the film Hamnet won Best Motion Picture Drama.
I've got to put Adolescents on my watch list.
That too, yes. I have not seen it, but heard amazing things about it. Today marks an exciting new chapter on Today. After 60 guest hosts in the past year, Chanel Jones will join Jenna Bush Hager as permanent co-host on the show's 4th hour. Chanel will be the first permanent co-host since Hoda Kotb left the show.
And of course, they've known each other for more than a decade. They've also co-hosted in the past, but they're really excited to permanently be hosting together.
Oh, well, and Chanel has gone through so much loss. Her husband, her grandmother over New Year's Eve. And so just really looking forward to 2026 to be a good one for her.
They got some big guests, Oprah Winfrey, Martha Stewart, all on the show. So tune in for laughter, joy, and fun as Today with Jenna and Chanel Jones makes its debut. You can watch the show starting at 10 right here on WRAL.
Today, Morrisville will honor the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. The town is holding a special community celebration that it's calling the Dream and Create program. Inspirational speaker Willa Brigham will share storytelling and uplifting songs. It's a free event tonight from 6:30 to 8 at Cedar Fort Community Center. Murder suspect on trial. Today, the court proceedings begin for the man accused of killing 2 Orange County teens. What's expected ahead of court today?
Also, Convention Center reopening after weeks of cleanup and repairs from a fire. The Raleigh Convention Center will be back open for business today. The work that still needs to be done.
And winter is back. Check out these temperatures solidly in the upper 20s as you're heading out the door. I'll let you know if you'll have to deal with a wind chill and just how chilly it will stay coming up.